right, y'all, we're about to jam out for real, y'all. Good morning, everybody. I've been thinking about you for quite a while. You're on my mind every day and every night. My every thought is you. The things you do seem so satisfying to me. I must confess it, boy. Ooh, I like it. You send chills up my spine every time I take one look at you. Ooh, and I like it. Boy, you're blowing my mind with the things you say to me. I like the way you comb your hair. I like those stylish clothes you wear. It's just the little things you do that show how much you really care. Like when I'm all alone with you, you know exactly what to do. You put that fire inside of me and make it more than just a dream. Ooh, I like it. You send chills up my spine every time I take one look at you. Ooh, and I like it. Ooh, I like it. Let me run this by you just one more time. You're on my mind every day and every night. My every thought is you. The things you do seem so satisfying to me. I must confess it, boy. Ooh, I like it. Boy, you're blowing my mind with the things you say to me. Yeah, ooh, and I like it. Boy, you're blowing my mind with those things you say to me. I like the way you comb your hair. I like those stylish clothes you wear. It's just the little things you do that show how much you really care. Like when I'm all alone with you, you know exactly what to do. You put that fire inside of me and make it more than just a dream. I like it. I like, come on, y'all. I really, really like it. I pour it, adore it. So come let me enjoy it. I hear y'all out there. Like it. I really, really like it. I'm for it, adore it. So come let me enjoy it. I like it. I like it. I really, I like it. I'm for it, adore it. Ooh, baby. Ooh, I like it. I'm just trying to satisfy you, boy. You know I really like it. Hey, baby, I like everything you do, the way you comb your hair, everything you do to show how much you really care. Hey, baby, every time I take one look at you, I get tears up and down my spine. All right, we got something else for you. Hey, we thought we'd jam out today since it's third Sunday. What? Hey, I keep forgetting we're not in love anymore. I keep forgetting things will never be the same again. I keep forgetting how you made that so clear. I keep forgetting, darling, every time you're near, every time I see your smile or hear your Can I rap? Regulate. Here we go, y'all. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets trying to consume some sculpture for the eve so I can get some phones rolling on my ride, chilling all alone. Just hit the east side of the LBC on a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G. Seen a call for girls, ain't no need to tweak. All you skirts know what's up with the 1, 2, 3. I keep forgetting not in love anymore. I keep forgetting things will never be the same again. I keep forgetting how you made that so clear. I keep forgetting, babe. All right, one more, y'all. One more. You must understand, though, the touch of your hand makes my pulse react. That it's only a thrill of boy meeting a girl. Opposites attract. It's physical, only logical. You must try to ignore that it means more than that. Oh, what's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. Oh, what's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? May seem to you that I'm acting confused when you're close to me. If I tend to look dazed, I've read it someplace. I've got cause to be. There's a name for it. There's a phrase that fits. But whatever the reason, you do it for me. Oh, what's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. And what's love but a second-hand emotion? And what's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? Ooh. Hey, Reggie. I've been taking on a new direction. Come on, y'all. But I have to say, and I've been thinking about my own protection. It scares me to feel this way. Oh, what's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. Woo. And what's love but a second-hand emotion? And what's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be? What's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. Hey, and what's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? Ooh, yeah. Said, what's love but a second-hand emotion? Yeah. What's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? Oh, yeah. We about to have fun this third Sunday. Yeah.
Third Sunday. Awesome.
Yes.
Y'all are jamming. Reg, you sound great. Everybody, welcome to Infinity. Welcome home. Welcome to the space of authenticity. It's Rev Jeff. I want to give a special thanks on third Sunday. We normally don't have the Voices of Infinity, but it's our anniversary month. This month is 6 years, y'all. So we've got Brother Reg here with us today, Sister Kenitha here, the Voices, Brother Tony. Just an awesome moment to celebrate and to lift up the energy and to lift that energy into you. If you're watching live, we are sending you love wherever you are. On Facebook, Sister Felina, thank you for letting us know. There's something happening with the YouTube stream. It's reading clear on our end, so it may be a YouTube issue. So for those who had to switch over to Facebook today, thanks for switching over. Thanks for starting a watch party. We got several watch parties happening. Thank you for that. Thank you for those who are watching the replay on YouTube, because good God willing and the creek don't rise, we get a nice clean stream. We'll just download it and upload it to YouTube. You know, even if it takes us a couple of hours to do that later, we'll make sure that we reach out to everybody who has been coming into this space on Sundays and finding the love that they find in no place like infinity. What an awesome medley today. We're going to be answering that question for you, Sister Kenitha. What's love got to do with it? We're going to be answering that in the message today. Love has a few things to do with it. But remind me of that. Y'all remind me of that in the box today later on, because it's an important question to answer when we talk about love versus what we think is love when we're being authentic. Welcome into the space of infinity. I invite you to join me in starting our official service today, our gathering in the divine space, beginning to acknowledge first the God of our own acceptance and understanding, that energy that you give a name to, that energy that many of us give a name to, that energy that some of us don't give a name to. And yet we recognize and realize that in this divine energy, we have many, many perceived names and yet one known energy. Let's focus now on invoking that known energy. Take a deep breath in. Exhale as you release. Take another deep breath inside your nose. Exhale with the auditory sound. If it's an ah, if it's a ha, if it's a ah, whatever it is, just exhale it. Let's let yourself hear it. Take another deep breath in. Exhale it in your nose. Continue to breathe like this as you allow your eyes to close from top to bottom. Releasing all of the things that do not serve us in the breath. Turning all distracted thoughts, all distracted energies back to the breath. Continue to breathe like this. Allow all eyes to close, all heads to bow, and all hearts to open in this moment. All wise, all knowing God, I want to thank you for this opportunity to stand in this space at this podium on this day, on the 6th anniversary of the Infinity Fellowship. I want to thank you on behalf of those who are gathered here today to send this energy out into the stream. I want to thank you for those who are joining us via Infinite Stream. Those who have joined Infinity, have been a part of Infinity, either in person or on the internet or via text messages, via courses and classes, wherever they may be. I want to thank you for their energies in this space today. Thank you for those who are watching it now, those who will catch it on a replay. Thank you for the many people who have come to this place over the last 6 years and found a place to call home. I want to thank you for those who are on the journey right now, on a deep and profound spiritual journey that led them into this energy. And I acknowledge, God, that we don't know all of your names. What we make up is insufficient to describe the energy that you bring into our lives. But one thing I do know, and that is that you are there, that you are present. And in those low places where we did not think we would make it, you were there to lift us up. And in those high places that we got to, you were there to celebrate with us. And so we give thanks for your presence in our lives today. We give thanks for the opportunity to remind each other of how awesome you are. We give thanks for the opportunity to just bask in your love. We thank you for the opportunity to go through the trials and tribulations that we faced this week and to still be here saying, I'm still standing. We're still standing because we're standing on and we're standing in your divine energy. Your divine energy is so powerful that it flows inside each one of us, and that love light is what attracts others to us. It's what repels negativity in our lives. And we recognize when people have problems with us being so positive and so good, it's because there's something missing in them. Let something be said or shared today in this service that will remind somebody that it's okay to love. It's okay to celebrate. It's okay to remind ourselves that you are a well from which we drink and fill ourselves. That you are a never-ending source of all of our needs. And we come to you and invoke you. And we respect all that we have been given to do in our divine purpose today. Thank you for the energy of the cosmos. Thank you for the ancestors. Thank you for the all in all that starts us off today and keeps us walking in our paths. For these awesome things and for other things we can't put into words, we can't express in human terms, we simply say thank you in a moment of divine gratitude, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Shalom. Namaste. Ashe. Deep breath in. Exhale to release. Now we pour our libations for the ancestors, those who have walked before, those upon whose shoulders we humbly stand, recognizing that we didn't get here just by ourselves. It was awesome that we selected this time in the world to come and be a change, but let's not get it twisted. We had people in our lives who prayed for us, who worked for us, who looked out for us, who sacrificed for us, who poured into us in previous generations, and we stand on their shoulders and we remember them. So as we pour this water represents those who are living. We pour it into the earth because it represents what happens to these earth suits when we get done with them. Sometimes we get done with them after a number of years in human terms, and sometimes we're only here for a brief moment of time. There's some of our ancestors who were here just for a window, just to teach us something about life. So we respect them, and we recognize and remember them. And as we call their names, as you type their names into the box today, you are recognizing and remembering them as much as if you were in this physical space with us today. Those names ring out into the universe as an ancestral memory that is electrocharged with power, because absence in this physical body simply means presence in all that's it. It's unlimited presence. So we send this energy into the atmosphere, the energy of Ashe. That's why we say Ashe. It means spirit, it means breath, it means essence, it means and so it is. So many wonderful words in that powerful word. We send a special blessing of water out to the spirit of recent ancestor Reverend Dr. Barbara Lewis King, the founder of Hillside International Chapel and Truth Center, a bishop in the International New Thought Association, very much a leader in the area of the law of attraction, and bending in her space, New Thought, taking the teachings of great teachers and prophets like Christ and putting them out in the world in a brand new way. Dr. Barbara L. King passed away last Sunday, transitioned and became an ancestor at age 90. So to her home space in Atlanta, to the international spaces that she's founded and influenced, and the empowerment that she's given to women and men alike all over the world, we send an energy out to you, Sister Dr. Barbara Lewis King. She also said something great. She said, you know what? You can do whatever you want to do, because she decided that she wanted to get a doctorate, even though she had been accomplished. She decided to get a doctorate, and she did at age 82. So y'all, remember these ancestors. I invite you at home, as we begin to pour the libation, to call those names aloud. And I speak that as names are coming in, that we recognize and pour this water for them. Those who are at home, those who are driving along. We remember you, ancestors, the energies in the north, the south, the east, and west, the ancestral energies that pop into our minds, the names that we call in this space. Dr. Barbara King, the names that we call in this space. Horace, Marion, and Elise Frazier, Queen Mother Bernice Brunson, Queen Mother Zuli Ursary, Queen Mother Di Smith. Those who have walked and continue to be with us. We speak that one day we will live a life that will make it as such. When we stand in the ancestral realm, those who are living will call our names as well. We remember you, and so it is. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. One, two. Thank you so much, Christina, for letting us know. My mic is back up. I'm going to try not to shout. I'll just adjust it on the box. One thing that you're grateful for, type it on in. I want to know if you can accept the challenge today. Take a deep breath and say, here's one thing that I'm grateful for. Cassandra, I'm grateful for my community. I see it, I feel it, I know it. I'm absolutely grateful for my community too. One thing I'm grateful for is health. Sister Jacola, grateful for health. Absolutely grateful for health. I'm grateful for the news delivery that at one point got lost and now sends my Sunday paper. I get a Sunday New York Times. Thank you. I'm grateful for Sister Kenitha. She rearranged it so I got a Sunday Times waiting on me. I can read about what's happening in the world. I have to read the national news so I can find out. I don't get too focused on the local, but grateful for that. Grateful for a new day, Sister Denise. Ain't it awesome? Nicole is grateful for my strength. Sister Denise is grateful for votes. Yes, wherever you are, vote. We're grateful. We got to early vote. Shout out to North Nashville, Friendship Baptist Church. Shout out to you all for opening your doors to be an early voting site. We went and we saw that energy there. I'm grateful to Reverend Edwin Sanders. Had a chance to see him at Friendship. Great mentor, helped us in forming this place. Thank you so much, Rev. I'm grateful for you and your energy in the community. Natasha, grateful to be able to provide for my girls during this pandemic. Sister Trizana, grateful for life and new journey on this earth. Sister Addison, grateful for the growing pains of this year. Woo! Got that gratitude, yeah. Stephanie Atkinson, grateful for life. And life is grateful for you too, Sister Steph. Hope you know that. Sister Katrina, grateful for new beginnings. Yeah, grateful. I'm personally grateful for technology. And sometimes technology gives us glitches, as we see with our YouTube stream today and even with our mic, but we got a mic button. We can turn it up and down, and that's great. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for Sister Alicia in the booth and Brother Tony. I'm grateful for him too. So Brother Tony, I think, has something for us. So you all give up some snaps, give up some muscle arms, give up some hearts, give up whatever you want to give up, because we're going to have a young man come up and give us some energy today, and he is going to rock and roll. He is at the microphone. He is ready for you. He is going to send you some flow, and you send him some energy back. Y'all give up some love for Brother Tony Insignares.
Y'all see me out there? Everybody good? All right, cool. All right, we're just going to get this thing going right now, as we go ahead and do right over here. Oh, good. All right. Miss Alicia, the show goes on. Let's get it. Yeah. Let's get it.
Kane is in the building.
Bounce with it. Let go. Yeah. Bounce with it. 6 years coming through, 6 years coming through. Go. Yeah. Let's get it. Let's go. Yeah. This year we taking everything, baby. Have you ever had the feeling that you were being had? Don't that stuff make you mad? They treat you like a slave, put chains on your soul, then put whips on your back. They be lying through their teeth. Hope you switch up off your path. I don't switch up, I just laugh. Put my feet up on their desk, unaffected by their threats. Then get busy on the fast. See, that's how my city made me, how my family raised me. Glittering may not be gold, don't let nobody play me. Even through this COVID, only I can save me. Gone, put your hands up when times is hard, we stand up. Always on demand, cause a brand that the fans trust. So even if they ban us, they never slow my plans up. All night, we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder? See the sun up. Yeah. It's okay to dance with it. Bounce with it, rock, roll with it. Let's see y'all catch up on this one. One in the air for the people over there. Two in the air for the father that's there. Three in the air for the kids in the ghetto. Four for the kids that don't want to be there. None for the fools trying to hold them back. Five in the air for the teachers not scared. Tell those kids that's living in the ghetto and the folks holding back that the world is theirs. Yeah, the world is yours. I was once that little boy, terrified of the world. Destination world tour. I will give up everything, even start a world war. For these little girls and boys, I'm rapping around the world. From Africa to New York, LA, then I detour. Oakland down to Nashville, Tennessee, baby. There's a hip-hop only destroy. I tell them, look at me, boy. Hope your son don't have a gun and never be a decoy. We dream so long, everybody ever wonder when they will see the sun up. Show goes on. 6 years, baby. 6 years, baby. Yeah. Got one more for y'all. What? Oh, y'all good? All right. You got me. Here we go. So no matter what you've been through, no matter what you into, no matter what you see, when you look outside your window, brown grass, green grass, picket fence, barbed wire, never ever put them down. You just lift your arms higher, raise them till your arms tired. Let them know you here, that you struggling, surviving, but you gon' persevere. Yeah, ain't nobody leaving, nobody going home. If they turn the lights out, the show is going on. All night to the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder whenever you see the sun up? Remember when you come up, the show goes on. 6 years, yeah. Anybody ever wonder? Sun up, when you come up, the show goes on. 6 years in the making. That's how we do it. Big C.
Oh, Tony, y'all give it up. Brother man. Brother Tony.
Thank you.
Brother Tony. That's how you do that there, man. Brother Tony is in the spot today. He is rocking and rolling today. It's like getting my groove on. Getting in this place right there, man. We want to and that. I can't do that. That's what the kids do. Is that how they do it, T? Is that how they do it? They just hit the folks. Y'all wait. My kids out there, y'all can be real. I can hit the folks, right? We can hit the folks, because that's how we hit it. All right, it's time to do our invitation today. And Brother T, if you didn't mind, you want to come up and do our invitation, let people know, grab your mic and bring it on up, and we'll get you so people can know what Infinity is. If you're brand new, you're a visitor, we're going to welcome you in a minute, but we want to first let you know what Infinity is. And no greater person to let you know than somebody who just rocked the house. Brother
Yes,
Tony,
sir.
He's in the space.
Oh,
Yeah. You want to come up? Yeah, I'll bring him up to you. I'll bring your invite up to you.
Okay.
So we got
I'll
it right.
take it.
Awesome.
All right. Good morning, Infinity. Yes, sir. I love the energy up in here. And there's a lot of energy out there in the internet world. So I want you to say that I am excited to welcome you to the most exciting spiritual community on the planet. You have squarely landed in the core of consciousness and the apex of authenticity. Now, Infinity is the fastest growing independent, ancient wisdom-based inter-spiritual community in the United States. To me, it's worldwide all the way to the universe, but that's just me, though. All right, and also, Infinity also happens to be the only independent, ancient, wisdom-based, interspiritual community in the United States. With that said, if you find yourself asking yourself if it's off the chain like this every Sunday around here, the answer to both questions is a resounding yes. Now, live in person, on the internet, on Facebook Live, or live in your face, Infinity is a place of growth, of love, and affirmation. We don't just tolerate people, quote unquote. We affirm them with progressive, practical, expansive spirituality designed to help you see progress in your spiritual life. We are the home for a growing number of people who consider themselves more spiritual than religious and need a place for community. Now, if you want to learn more about us on your own, simply visit our website at myif.org. That's myif.org. Now, what makes Infinity so exciting is its diversity of people and presentation. On first and second Sundays, we have our one-of-a-kind standard service, and on third Sundays, like today, we have IFSpeaks, where you get to ask questions and dialogue on the topic of instruction. And on fourth Sunday, we move the chairs and do Yoga Sunday, the Sunday morning experience that centers your mind, body, and spirit. And in between these amazing and expansive spiritual experiences, we do community service, we build housing for the underserved, we provide spiritual support and safe spaces for the arts, interreligious and interracial understanding, and more, which defines the very meaning of spirituality in action. Now, if you have been seeking a place of learning, growth, acceptance, and action like you are experiencing today, and would like to join the Infinity Fellowship, send us an email at infinitynashville@gmail.com, and we'll contact you about enrolling in our online new members orientation at Nashville's unique spiritual community. Now, we speak affirmative prayers at Infinity. We call them PERMs, like your boy right here, which stands for pouring energy into realignment towards manifestation. And if you require a special perm in your life and for any personal situation, please let us know in the Facebook comments or slide gracefully into our DMs, and we'll put a burst of light and love into the world for you today. And at this time, I want to welcome up the co-founder, Chief Operating Officer, and leading lady of Infinity, Sister Kenitha Carr, who will lead us through the spiritual agreements that tie us all together as a spiritual community, our statement of infinitude.
Thank you, Tony.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I know y'all feel good out there, and we're getting it together. Thank you, Rev. All right. So welcome to the Infinity Experience live online. And again, we always like to remind you here at Infinity, we have a couple of things. We don't tell you what to call or how to define the God of your own personal acceptance and understanding. That is an intensely personal, beautiful relationship. Here at Infinity, we simply and powerfully affirm your unique connection. And number two, whatever you decide to call that source energy, you'll hear us say God interchangeably with the universe, divine source. What you see around you is the proof, baby, that it was showing off when you were created after the same image and likeness. And so now, it's time to speak aloud the core agreements that bring us together at Infinity. We call that infinitude. Infinitude is defined in the dictionary as the state or quality of being infinite, y'all, or having no limit. We have a unique mix of faith backgrounds at Infinity, but what centers us is the spirituality we all share in common. For us, infinitude is defined as infinity with an attitude. I gotta get my snap in. And the attitude is gratitude, and the snap you just heard is the spiritual practice that gives us life and meaning. The snap is on our website at myif.org, and as well as on the screen as well. The S in SNAP is for spirituality that transcends religion and connects you to the God of your own personal understanding. The N in SNAP is for nurturing of ourselves and others, mind, body, and spirit. The A is for action, because we take action on our callings and walk in our divine purpose every day. And finally, the P is for the proof that our spiritual practices manifest fruit in our lives through the building and maintaining of healthy and prosperous families, relationships, careers, and dreams. We are grateful you all are here as unique manifestations of our Creator, the loving, living spirit of our commonality, the divine source of all creation perceived by many names, yet known by only one energy. Please join us at home as I lead us in the statement of infinitude, and feel free to read along with us as the Spirit leads you. We agree that we are beings of pure, eternal spirit birthed from the creative potential of the universe, with all the powers of the Creator inherent within us. We embrace the innate goodness of humankind and an abundant creation that provides for us through the seeds that we plant in our everyday lives. We acknowledge that who we are is housed in a temporary biological organism, and as such, it is our responsibility to take care of it because it will only last for a precious window of time. As we nurture ourselves spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, we commit to provide like acts of nurturing for our fellow brothers and sisters of the world we live in, embracing all regardless of religious faith, skin color, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic background. All are truly welcome at Infinity. We agree and accept that various religions exist as a unique opportunity for humanity to get to know one another through meaningful conversations that seek to explore the core concepts we share in common. It is the application of ancient wisdom, scientific discovery, and spiritual practices, both physical and metaphysical, that will lead us closer together as a human family. We commit to exist now and ever as a beloved community. Let it be so according to the many ancient terms of affirmation. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Shalom.
Shalom.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Ashe.
Ashe. Thank you, Sister Kanitha. Wonderful time. What a moment. What a time to be here. Welcome our first-time visitors today. I want to welcome you on this awesome third Sunday because today is a day that the God of your acceptance and understanding has made. It's a moment to celebrate and be glad. If you're a first-timer here, go ahead and type first time in the box so we can share some love with you. We can share some energy. We can just pour energy on top of you and say thank you for tuning in today. I get the opportunity to let you know that we see the real you. If I've not met you before, either in person or here on the Infinite Stream, my name is Jeff Obafemi Carr. I'm also known as Rev Jeff here, and I am going to rev you up with the reminder that you are driven by an engine that is the actual universe and all creation. We see you not as a human being who showed up today to have a spiritual experience, but it's the other way around. You are a spirit navigating the human experience like the rest of us. So I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath in, exhale to release. Good. And even if it's not your first time here, it's always a good time to be reminded of who you are. So you can repeat after me. Say it to yourself or to the people who are gathered with you. I see you, but you don't hear me though. I really see the real you. I see who you are. You are a divine manifestation of God's creation. I see what you are. You are a spirit. You're more than what's on the outside. You're a gift to me and to the entire world. I see where you are. You're right here in front of me, where I can let you know, if nobody else will, that you are not alone. I'm with you and you're at home. I see when you are. You're in the right now, baby. You're so much more than your yesterday. I see why you are. You're here to learn, to grow, to embrace your dreams, and to celebrate your divine destiny. I know all this because I'm here to do the same. So we're going to help each other out. I know the real you, and I see you shining today. So welcome home. Welcome to Infinity. Asheo! Whoa, 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 whoa. Welcome. Good to have y'all here. Good to have you on the replay. Good to have you today. We're 6 years old. We've been being bold. We always got where we gotta be cold. Yo, oh yeah. Oh, yeah. No, get my. I tease it every Sunday. Every Sunday I tease it one day. Who knows? Maybe we have to do 10th anniversary if I still have the use. I can't wait 4 years for Rev to bust a rap. We thinking of a master plan, because ain't nothing but sweat inside my hand. Okay. That's funny. I don't know why that song came, but it's particularly appropriate because we invite you into the sacred act of giving right now. Right, absolutely. And yeah, I had a great gig last week. I was paid in full, so I'm looking forward to to Infinity being paid in full first, because the first thing that I do, the first thing that we do in this space, when we receive, we give back to the space and the spaces that feed us spiritually. So Infinity is that space. So it is time for our sacred giving, y'all. Y'all know how we do it. And we do it in style, we do it big, we do it joyfully. And we recognize that through giving, everything is good. For those who are offering today and giving through offering, you give according to how you've been blessed in the world. And it's not just that you've been blessed financially, it's been that you've been protected, you've been saved. Some of you dodged a bullet this week. That's what giving is about. For those who are tithing is simply saying 10% of what came through the door, I am sending it back out into the places where I receive my spiritual food. And that's how we grow. That's how we prosper. That's how we, as a group, as an organization, as a fellowship, grow in a wonderful way. So I want to send a shout out to all of our folks. We are truly becoming Infinity Fellowship International. So I want to send a shout out to our streamers, infinite streamers who are coming in from Ohio. Shout out to you. Shout out to North Carolina. Shout out to California. Shout out to Kentucky. Shout out to Belgium. We see you, Belgium. We hear you. We feel you. Shout out to 2 new folks from London who participated in the offertory period. We're like, wait a minute, we're getting euros coming in here. It's like, wow, this is kind of cool. So Infinity Fellowship International, for those of you all over the world now who are finding this stream and are finding a place to connect authentically with yourself, this is the space of giving. And before we give, we also apply the law of attraction there. The law of attraction is very clear. It's very simple. Everything has a frequency. Everything is vibration. Thoughts become things. You control the frequency of your vibration. So as we get ready to give, we're going to take a deep breath in, exhale to release. And as your heart is moved to give in this moment, we're going to put up our affirmation, and we're going to say our giving affirmation together. We're going to supercharge this baby. O limitless, abundant creator, source of everything I possess, you have given me the gifts of life, breath, and creativity. You continue to provide for me without judgment or preference, and so I freely return these gifts to you with my whole heart, mind, and intention, knowing that as I give freely with both remembrance and gratitude, the circle of abundance will be unbroken, and so it is. Everything is good, you all. You can give securely in this moment. Join collectively in giving. If you're watching the replay, you can give at the moment that you see it. We'll put a slide up that shows you. You can even scan the slide, y'all. We have become technologically advanced at Infinity. We become fancy, very fancy. Through CashApp, $ Infinity Fellowship. Through PayPal, paypal.me/Infinity Fellowship. Or you can send it via mail to the Infinity Fellowship, 641 West Nocturne Drive, Nashville, Tennessee, 37207. Everything is absolutely good. Sing along with us while you're grooving, and we'll get it going and rocking. Everything is good. Yeah. Hey. Ha ha. Everything is good. It's a simple song. Everything is good. I got it. Come on and sing it with us.
Hey, everything is good. Everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, yeah, everything is good. Yes, everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Come on out there. Hey, everything is good. Everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. So good. Everything is good. I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, everything is good. Everything is good. So good. Everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, everything is good. Come on. Everything is good. Tell yourself everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. I've got it. I've got it. Hey, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Tell yourself I've got it. Hey, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. I've got it good.
You got it good. You got it good.
I've got it good. I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Come on and clap your hands with me. I've got it. Hey, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. I've got it good. I've got it. Hey, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good.
I've got it good.
Good.
Yeah, yeah. I got that Delta blues. Yeah. I got that Delta blues. I got it good. I got it good. Got it good. Got it good. Well, sometimes when you don't recognize all the good in your life, all it takes is a moment when you start celebrating what's good. You got good people around you, and you got things that you've been brought through, and you say, oh, you say, I got it good. I got it good. Oh, got it good. I got it good. I got it good. Got it good in my hood. Got my friends, got my family, got people who surround me to remind me of who I am. I don't listen to the world outside, 'cause I know that negativity is a scam. I got it good, got it good, got it good. Oh, when the spirit moves your edge, just say I got it good. You know that you can overcome anything that comes at you. All you gotta do is feed into gratitude, and you'll see that it will transform your attitude. You got it good. Everything is good. Everything is good.
Come on now,
Y'all can't give me music every week, Reg. Thank you, man. Thank you, Reg. Thank you, Kanitha. That's, oh, man. Woo, spontaneous love. Spontaneous. Man, y'all, I hope y'all feel, y'all know, right? Because, Infinity, and I know it's great because it's easy to, to record and just kind of put stuff up. But, nothing beats in my heart that live energy, because you never know when Spirit is going to take over and just remind you of something. It's going to come in song, it's going to come in energy, it's going to come in comments, it's just going to flow. So, don't let anybody, if you showed up today in this space to understand authenticity, don't let anybody steer you from the path of reminding yourself of how good life is, because if you're in it here, you're here to win it, okay? So you got here, and I know you may have had something rough happen to you before you got here. I know you may have just stumbled your way to the stream today. Some of you may have just tuned in, and you're like, what did I find? You know what? You found a vein of reminder that you are absolutely, positively here to make this difference in this world, to be who you're supposed to be and your authentic self. Let's find out what's happening with the world of Infinity with our announcement, Sister Kanitha, and then we will move on to the message. Get this thing going well. All right. Snap it on up.
Snap it on up. All right, y'all. Well, good morning. Isn't this good? Isn't it good? We're feeling good. We're feeling good. Getting amped up. So good morning, Infinity. Welcome to October, the 10th month of 2020, the year of Focus to Fruition, our 6th anniversary month, y'all. We are amping up our energy with the 2020 vision. Our daily practice for this year is I've got the power. I've got the power. We speak that you are being safe at home and embracing this opportunity to explore your spirituality on a deeper level than ever before. So here are a couple of important reminders of things happening here at Infinity. Our affirmation call is every Wednesday. Join our affirmation call every Wednesday at 12 noon Central Standard Time for 9 minutes of encouragement, empowerment, and energy poured into realignment for manifestation. The number is on the screen, and you can look at this and take a picture. It's right there, this slide. To have the number. Don't forget, Wednesday at 12 noon Central Standard Time. All right, y'all. This year, Halloween falls on a weekend. So me and Infinity were trunk or treat. Hey, how you throw that in there like that? Hey. Boo, you're invited. That's one of my songs. Okay. Mark your calendar for our 3rd annual trunk or treat. We're going to have a fabulous, safe distance, that's important, safe distance celebration, decorations, candy giveaways, costumes, and a haunted trail. In order to safe distance and schedule correctly, we are asking that you reserve your free ticket, y'all, for you and your family in advance. The QR code is on the screen. You can scan it now, so go ahead and take a quick pause and scan that if you are wanting to come. And check out Remind for the text that went out last night on the membership list. If you are volunteering, please check your sign-up link that will go out this week so we can have all activities covered, monitored, and supervised. And don't forget that you do want to make sure to get your ticket so that we can have a specific number of people. We don't want to go out of hand. We want to keep all of our kiddies safe and at a social distance. All right, next week is Yoga Sunday. Woo! Every 4th Sunday, we move all the chairs and participate in a moving meditation message and realignment known globally as Yoga Sunday. Next week, the focus will be the throat chakra. Are you seeking to amplify your voice and ability to speak up for yourself? Then join us here for the world's only Yoga Sunday. If you are safe distance practicing in person with you, reserve your spot ASAP as usual. For the rest of you infinite streamers, get your mat ready at home and we'll get your body in realignment with your mind and spirit. So again, we do have spots for that for next Sunday, so that we'll also do social distance, but we do have a few spots so you can sign up. All right, it's time for standing ovation.
Tune your vibration to a high elevation. It's time for the good news, our standing ovation.
Okay. Our high energy.
Got my coffee. I made it just back in time to hit the ink on the end, man.
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
love it.
Our high energy here at IF comes from our practice of snap. That's why we snap our fingers during this part of the service. We receive practical lessons and tools for our individual journeys at spirituality. We fellowship with like-minded spirits every week. That's nurturing.
Yes.
We take what we learn and apply it in our lives, and that's action. And if we do these things, then every week we'll see examples of progress in our lives, and that's the proof. So let's pause to enjoy a collective moment of manifestation and expansion. We'll call off your names and manifestations as we receive them, and when your name is called, we will snap our fingers to celebrate and affirm you, and then at the end, we're just gonna go crazy.
We're gonna go
give you a
bonkers.
Collective
So
standing
if you got a standing
ovation.
ovation, those of y'all who know,
Yes.
you know Infinity. Come on, type it in the box so we can read it. And just keep in mind, we do have a roughly 30-second delay. So those of you who are typing right now, we will announce your standing ovation, something great that you've accomplished, some hill that you got over, some blockage that was removed. Let us celebrate you in this moment. This is the moment to do that. This is the time to go in and to have a good time. So standing ovations, we're going to start reading those when they come in, if we've got some that are coming in. Standing ovations for you. Have anything great happen for you this week, Sister Kenita?
Let's see. For me, I didn't lose my mind. That is really big. That's
didn't?
really, 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 really big. Because we had just come back from being out of town and trying to get everybody situated. And a few of our babies are going back into the classroom. So we're having to stay on top of that and make sure that they're going to be socially distancing. And just, protecting them, making sure that their immunities are up and all of that good stuff. So I'm just glad that I've just been able to maintain, even if it's been hard, because I had a breakdown moment.
Sometimes it's like that.
And then I was
Talk about
like, it's just good that I was able to keep going and see those good things. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Standing ovation moment for me. I got through this week, which was full of pop-up challenges. And I had some professional challenges that popped up, and it was interesting. I didn't go off, and I didn't start saying, you know what, let me get some people straight. I got a call, and I was like, you know what, normally, even the 20, the 30-something-year-old me would just like literally open my mouth and like create havoc, destruction, and make it so that somebody would need to see somebody for several years to get over what was coming out. But I had that moment where I recognized in the pivot, because this happens for us too, y'all. This stuff is not, we're not walking around magical human beings, always always ignoring the realities of the world. But I was able to make that significant pivot in that moment and not take the bait. So that's my standing ovation for today. I was able to not take the bait. We got Sister Cassandra Lockridge, great things happening for her. Finally found the inspiration, energy, and knowledge that I can dedicate to Ethel Muniz. That is her business, y'all. Took me a long minute. But Sister Cassandra, we know you've been doing that. We've been watching you. We know you're exploding on Instagram. We know that you are finding your path in your unique way. And so keep doing that. That's just a confirmation that things happen in time. That's when it's happened. So super shout out to you. Christina, working towards being healthier mentally.
Yes.
Come through, Christina.
Woo, that's
Yeah,
big.
mental health.
Oh, man.
Free your mind, right? It's the rest will follow.
Yes.
It's in the music. We're in the singing mood today.
I know, we just keep singing.
We never have live
Except
music on
Reggie's.
third Sundays. Reggie's here. So we're in
just
here.
showed out.
So we love it. Thanks for the shout out on the singing earlier too. We appreciate that. Sister Denise knows on October 4th, the matriarch of my family, Eula Moody, turned 85. The only child of 3 left of my grandparents.
Oh, yes.
Sister Eula Moody, we're happy to send you your love, send you a family, send you your energy, send you all of that into the space today. 85 wonderful years. Man, celebrate that. I know Brother Tony had something. Did you have something, Brother Tony, from back there? You want to roll? When you're coming up, I'll shoot you the mic in the back there if you want to go back there and grab the mic and share something.
I'm just grateful for life.
Brother Tony says he's grateful for life.
Man, that's so big, though.
Oh.
I mean, it's like, you don't want to take it for granted, man. You just don't want to take it.
Well, we've had those stories.
Yeah.
You take life for granted.
Yeah.
Every day. Every day people are transitioning, y'all. Every day people are going out of these physical shells. So you're here, don't take it for granted. 25 to 85, whatever it happens, it's there. All right, Sister Ariana says, I am still sober.
Yes! Woo!
And my life is getting better every day.
Come on now! Come on. We are with you. We are with you.
I would have turned a
we're with
backflip
you,
into a
man.
splits right here. If this chair wasn't here, Ariana, I would have
Come on.
maybe attempted.
Oh, we're with
but
you.
we are with you
Yes.
on your journey, in your space.
Yes.
That one day at a time, space is something
yes.
that you celebrate.
Moment
One
to
day
moment.
turns, it's
Come
just
on.
moment to moment, minute by minute. We
Yeah.
send you that love.
Yes.
We send you that energy.
Yes.
We send you that affirmation,
Yes.
that confirmation. Oh, what a great piece of big news, man. Y'all love and Facebook on those statuses and give those energies in there. So we've got some great people to celebrate today.
Yes, we do.
And then after celebration, we get a chance to get down
All right.
with the
I'm ready.
message. All right, let's celebrate. So for those of you who shared, you can stay and sit at home or stay where you are and receive this affirmation for you. Everybody else, even if you don't think anybody can see you because you're by yourself, they can feel you in the atmosphere. So let's give a thunderous round of applause, standing ovation for everybody who had something awesome happen for them.
Yes. Congratulations. Those are the announcements and ovations for today. So it is. Ashe.
To the left, to the left. Everything I own in a box to the left.
Oh, my goodness.
We want to welcome y'all into, I know. It's like when I get into spaces like this, people will like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. Scooch in a little bit toward me, We're going to balance it out a little bit. And then we'll be able to see as we sit down. Yeah, there we go. How about that? We made it. We're here. Third Sunday. Time for the message. Everybody take a deep breath with me. Inhale and exhale, release it. And wherever you are in the world, join us in singing a song that we sing every third Sunday, where we invite you into this space today, this conversation. We invite you to go to the metaphysical land. When you say words like metaphysical, y'all know how we do it. I'm not going to use a word that sounds so powerful and so deep that it makes it look like we're smarter than everybody. We're accomplished. We have our doctorate degrees and all of that. We're not going to wear that on our sleeves. We often get misaligned when we don't know the definition of words. So when we say physical, we're talking about nature, what we can see with our eyes, what we can touch, those things that are material or that are matter. We talk about metaphysical, that is extra or more than physical. It is existential. It's the nature of being. That's simply what it is. So when we talk about traveling to another land, you can travel to a physical land. Our ancestors were taught that there was a physical space called heaven that was going to be for us something powerful that affirmed who we were on this physical plane. Then later on, we come into the modern Western world and we're taught that heaven is a physical place, but yeah, you don't get to go to it now. And it's not aligned with anything that's in the right now. It's something to reward you, and that this life is going to be suffering. We also know now, after study and recognition, that that is a extra physical, a extra nature, a super nature space. It is a space of being. So when we talk about coming and going to that land and inviting you to come and go to that land, we're talking about that heavenly space that already exists inside of you. That is a powerful space that you can always go to. So y'all, we've been singing today. Let's sing it again. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land where I'm bound. Oh, there is power in that land. There is power in that land. There is power in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There is power in that land. There is power in that land. There is power in that land where I'm bound. Oh, there is love in that land. There is love in that land. There is love in that land where I'm bound. There is love in that land. There is love in that land. There is love in that land where I'm bound. Oh, don't you wanna go to that land? Don't you wanna go to that land? Don't you wanna go to that land where I'm bound? Where I'm bound. Don't you wanna go to that land? Don't you wanna go to that land? Don't you wanna go to that land where I'm bound? Divine Spirit, we invoke your presence in this place today. May the words that we share, may the energies that come out in the words that we speak, may our hearts be in alignment with those who are here in this room and those who are at home. And may we speak or share something that invites those who are under the sound of my voice to step things up in recognition of their greatness as representatives of you. For these things and other things we can't put into words, we simply say thank you. Amen. 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 Hotep.
Hotep.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Yes, sir. Y'all are at home. We got some work to do today. For the next few minutes here, we will not be super long, but we will be super strong because we got some spaces to talk about. We're talking about living an authentic spiritual life. How do you live an authentic spiritual life and produce results? You know, we talk about authenticity. There's a difference between authenticity and what people would consider keeping it real. And this is what I want to talk about. Spirit has talked about this. And as you all are listening, writing in your journals, taking notes, you know, we work here in this space. Seriously taking responsibility for our spirituality. That's what we're here. And we've got to do that. You've got to take responsibility for your spiritual path and for being authentic. Dr. Barbara Lewis King, who was just an awesome example for living her best life. She went back and got a doctorate because she wanted to at 82. It's not because she hadn't spoken to hundreds of thousands of people across the world at global conferences and founded Hillside in Atlanta and just trained people through the Barbara L. King Theological Seminary, created her own space. She could not fit traditionally in traditional church, so she broke the mold. Along comes Agape. They break the mold after that. Along comes Infinity. We break the mold even more. We just shattering molds, right? Because of the ancestors upon whose shoulders we stand. But she said something very important about when people come to church in religious or spiritual environments, and I want you all to absorb this with me. Dr. King, she was a jazzy lady too, man. She was tall too, very, very striking woman. She said, quote, "Don't be ashamed when you walk into a place like this," talking about spiritual environments, "and you feel like you came because you needed God. We all need God. And in needing God, when we get to know the presence and power, then we don't have to need anymore. We just know we've got all we desire right inside of us." I'm going to leave that quote about 10 more seconds and let y'all take a breath on that, absorb that, and see what it means to you, how it resonates in your heart. All right, thank you, Sister Alicia. Yeah. So when we come back into this space, right, when we talk about understanding that you have what we need and everything that you need, there's a difference between the modern popular culture notion of keeping it real and keeping it authentic. The reason why I say that is we live in a culture where reality has been predefined for us. Reality has been defined as the kind of house that you live in, the neighborhood that you came from, a certain persona that you might have on social media, a certain persona that you might have in the music industry or the film industry. When certain images are affirmed by society, when certain images are promoted, it is often the chasing of that image that is seen as keeping it real. If that image is people pop off at the drop of a hat, when you pop off at the drop of a hat, you're keeping it real. Spirit, come on through. Men, when you go somewhere looking any kind of way, and that is perceived as keeping it real, then you will go and look any kind of way. You will not present yourself. My father's was old school now. I'm not as great as my father was at it, but my father never left the house with his bedclothes on. He never left the house with his house slippers on to go into public, simply because he knew that the house slippers were for walking around the house. The bedclothes were for sleeping. There was nothing that would be keeping it real about that. Especially when it becomes a fashion thing. We're keeping it real when we're dressing outside the way we dress around the house. Is that keeping it real or is it keeping it authentic? Keeping it authentic means I understand who I am proud of who I am, and I am walking in a space where I am not trying to fit in with what society defines as realness, but I am trying to discover that space within me and then manifest that space within me that is exuding the greatness that I know was born inside me, regardless of what anybody thinks. That means that I feel a certain way when I walk among people. I feel confident about myself because I am carrying within me the seed of greatness. That is who we are authentically, and it can make people uncomfortable when you decide not to fit in. The first point, we talk about spiritual practice, and this is how I want to define spiritual practice. A spiritual practice is any practice that aligns you with your divine purpose. It's not a religious ritual. It is not a religious. There are people, if you understand, there are people who can go to church today, go to mosque today, go to synagogue today. There are people who can go sit in a religious ceremony today, and then immediately after the ceremony, they can file a bill, they can press a button, they can order a strike that will damage the lives of millions of people, and they will not think twice about it. They will not relate the ritual that they had on a Sunday to what they're doing in the world and society to bring harm to people. That's the difference between ritual and spiritual practice. So yes, ritual is important to us as a people, as human beings. We love to have spaces to gather. I love this space because it allows people who don't fit in traditional spaces to have a space where they can come together, and we can invoke spirit. We can call upon the ancestral energy. We can bring the communal energy of singing, of spiritual practice in. We can move our bodies. We can recommend things that people can do to see fruit in their life. Yes, but if we don't practice those things in living, then we run the risk of it becoming a ritual, y'all. It becoming something that you just do to say, I did this on Sunday. I put it on in the background and I started cooking, but I didn't hear a word that was said in between my favorite songs coming through the speaker. You have to reach a place where you are going to claim an authentic spiritual practice. When we get to Q&A today, in a few minutes, I'm not going to talk long, but I want to open it up for you. If you have been dealing with some issues in your spiritual practice, for you to ask us a question. If you need some guidance in an area, if you need to affirm something, if you need to confirm something, or if you need help dealing with something, that's what Third Sunday is. That's what IFSpeaks is. So please, no matter where you are, put it in. We'll talk to you about it, and we'll make sure that we give you some of those practices that can help you bear fruit in your lives. The first point that I want to leave, I want to talk about patience. I want to talk about embracing, and I want to talk about speaking. Patience, embracing, speaking. You have to give yourself patience in the awakening process. Patience in the process. See, when we have a spiritual revelation, when you often have a spiritual relationship with the universe, you have a spiritual relationship with God, the ancestors, and understand, when I say that, it's all together, it's the same thing. There's no separation between the universe, God, divine source, the ancestors. The only separation is something that we make in our minds. Well, you're talking about which God are you talking about? No, there's no, if everybody's saying it's the same energy, that's the premise that we're operating from. We're not arguing over names, we're not arguing over energies. We're talking about that space of awakening that often comes from trying on pants in the store that don't fit. Have you ever tried on some pants in a store that just didn't fit? It was a little too snug, and
Maybe loose. Sometimes it could be.
or they were a little
They were a
loose.
little loose, maybe.
But you tried them on and you said, this isn't work. And you know that feeling. I know I've had that feeling before where I've been a little bit shocked when they're a little loose
for me. But now sometimes they're a little tight. Like the size 28, I got that. I got a 32, then I picked up a size 28. I got home, I said, man, this thing ain't working. I got me some jeggings. I didn't mean to, but but at least the button snapped. I was happy the button snapped. I told that story once in an old message. When you find something that doesn't fit, it often doesn't fit because you don't recognize that your body has changed from what it used to be. So it used to be a certain size. It used to be a certain form and fit, and you don't know until you try on something new, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, something has changed. It's an affirmation that something has changed. So change doesn't often come as an aha moment of enlightenment. So for those of you who've been, you've been meditating, you've been doing your pouring energy into realignment toward manifestation, you don't get the revelation instantly. But you have to be patient because sometimes the revelation comes when you were trying to do something that worked before and you're just like, I'm not feeling this anymore. That's when that moment of revelation comes because it is an affirmation of change. So I want you, as you are changing right now, we're in an era of profound change, to first and foremost, give yourself patience. Practice patience in your awakening process. You may have discovered something that's making you have to read more. You may have discovered something in a course or a class or a conversation or something that you heard here that make you say, God, I always knew something was expanding my mind, but your conditioning is making you not want to embrace it because you know it's going to make you break the box that you've been existing in. It's not that nagging is not going to go away. Embrace that change. Embrace that growth. Do the extra work. Read that extra book. Have that extra conversation and give yourself some grace and patience in the process while you're awakening. Something you want to add to that, Sister Kim?
Yeah, because I was thinking the whole time when it goes back to the practice part. And it's like I think about our Performing Arts Academy kids, or like when I used to teach acting. One of the things that I used to have to get on my students all the time about, and this is even if you're in a sport and you have to practice before the game, it was that they thought that the time of practice was just to kind of lollygag about. So they wouldn't really know their lines, or they were like, I'm going to say it like this. And I'm like, well, are you going to say it like that for the actual show? And they're like, well, no, I'll know what to do for the show. I said, no, you won't, because muscle memory, you're automatically going to go back into that place that you've been practicing. So if you've been practicing at a subpar level, then that is what is going to show up when it's time for the actual performance. So I was like, every time we go into practice, we always treat it like we have to excel 100+%, so that when it came to the full performance, you are going to do your thing at a level of excellence, and you're going to actually be able to glide because your body will just come forth and take that muscle memory. So I think about that like with our spirituality, it's the same thing. Sometimes I feel like in practice, we think, well, it's like the religious thing, we may have rituals that we do. And we're like, that's going to get me where I need to go. But you need to practice. You have to get the practice, and you got to practice like something is about to hit you hard, or something may get you off a course, so that when something does happen, something happens in your family, something happens at home, so you lose your job, whatever it is, you've already built the momentum up. So then you're just walking into muscle memory. You are recalling the things that you remember. No, I am divine spirit. No, I do have this divine source. Oh, no, everything is working out for me in some way, some form, some fashion. I'm not just doing lollygagging about in life. I'm really able to push myself. I'm really able to connect with that divine alignment, but that has to come through that practice.
Yes, and how you practice is how you play.
Yes.
There was a time from the early 1940s up until almost the 1980s in HBCU football, where predominantly white institutions refused to play HBCUs. This is prior to integration. So here in Nashville, UT, Vanderbilt, all the big SEC schools refused to play Tennessee State. because it would have been like wiped up. The field would have been wiped up. This is before they were allowing black players like Claude Humphreys and other people who were coming out of Tennessee State going into the NFL at the time, which was just integrating. But you talk about that concept, Big John Merritt, who's a legendary football coach. I talked to some people who played under him and Coach Gillum. And Coach Gillum, I met John Merritt in high school. I was singing at an event downtown. He was this big, gregarious figure. He always had a cigar in his mouth and had his hair laid and always had on a suit with an overcoat. Oh, he was sharp now, right? The brothers used to, like, you talk about how you present yourself. He presented himself as an executive. He presented himself as a boss. When Big John Merritt walked in the room, you knew, because people's necks started turning around. He walked in here, and you would ask Coach Merritt, Coach, how's the football team going to do this year? He said, the hay's in the barn, baby. The hay's in the barn. That's what he would say. It's all stacked up. It's all ready to go. John Merritt had this philosophy, and his players will tell you that when they were in practice, they almost knocked each other senseless. The defense almost knocked the offense senseless. I mean, bone-jarring drills that he said we beat up on each other so bad that the offense had to learn how to achieve to overcome our defense. And our defense was fixated on stopping the best offense that you see in football. We practiced so hard Monday through Friday that on Saturday, we felt like we just had a chance to play and have fun and take it out on people. And when you look at those scores where they were running up the score or coming back in the fourth quarter and leading people by 40 or 50 points, it's because they played how they practiced harder, so hard that when the game time came, it was merely muscle memory in action. And you had to see who else out-practiced you. So listen, don't let anybody out-practice you. Don't let anybody out-read you, out-study you. You are in competition with yourself and your highest potential, but manifest those opportunities when you have the chance. One more thing about patience in the process. We're sitting in a building now 6 years later. It's unprecedented because of not only the hybrid space of this is a building for community action and also a home for infinity. And so we do both of those, and we have no discrimination against, or we see no dichotomy, no change, no difference between the work that we do spiritually and the work that we do community-wise, because we bring all people together in that space, and we don't try to convert people. You know, people can sometimes be want to being in church environments because church environments have a clear mission. The mission is to convert you, is to win your soul. I know I used to be a part of some of those missions. When you create a space that is not intent on that, then you say, whosoever will, let them come, so to speak. When you have that kind of space, you have to have an understanding that we're not just sitting here because we magically appeared. 2.5 years in to Infinity being here, we had just built Nashville's first tiny home community. We're saying, what can we do now? We need a center. We identified a space on West Trinity Lane. It was a little church, a previous church, and we directed everybody here. Those of you who were here at the time, y'all remember, we took pictures of this church building. We talked to people about getting a loan. We drew it out on paper. We drew out a floor plan, Tony. We put, Alicia, we put pictures up of what we wanted it to be. We told everybody, put this on your vision board. Draw pictures and share it with everybody. Yes. Let's amplify this vibration.
Yes.
Let's do it. We put that all together. We started scraping together pennies. We started saying, hey, we're going to get us a building. We started crowdfunding. We started all of that. And somebody else bought the building.
Yes.
That thing went away so quick.
Like, okay. Yeah.
So.
Well, we kept hitting up against things too.
We had so many obstacles.
It just was not working out.
Anybody had obstacles?
It was not working out. But the focus was always, we want a new building. Like, we knew Infinity was going to have a new building.
We knew we needed a building and facility, but nothing was working out. We thought we had a loan in place, dead end. We thought we had support coming from somebody, it withdrew. We thought we'd get a chance to go in and see, no, it did. It was roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. But guess what? We were fixated. We kept drawing pictures. We kept saying, we're going to have this space. We're going to have this space. We're going to have this space. We did not get that physical space. But guess what? This is how the universe works. We lost that space. This space became available. We happened to just be in the neighborhood and saw this space. The yard sign probably hadn't broken the ground good. It was overgrown with everything. We couldn't even see the building. We knew this space was here. During the time we were pursuing the other space, this space wasn't on the market yet. It wasn't for sale. It wasn't ready. This was the space we were supposed to have. We got distracted thinking it was that one thing, that one building, when it wasn't that building, it was a building that we were calling into existence for the programs that we wanted to do. We thought it was that building, but it wasn't. It was this building. And then when we go by that building, we look and we say, man, with the development around and the restriction on the parking, we couldn't have been in that building more than a month, and we would have never been able to do any of the programming that we wanted to do. So the universe spared us from what we thought was something we were supposed to have so that it could prepare the things we're supposed to have to manifest when they're supposed to manifest. Some of you have been hitting a dead end in some places in your life. You've been hitting a closed door in your life. You've been trying your best to force something into manifestation that has not been manifesting. Spirit is saying to you today, it's affirming, it's confirming today that you got to keep on understanding that what is for you is coming into an alignment. It may just not be ready for you right now, but you are tuning into the frequency of that need, that specific need. It may not be what you think it is. Listen to the signals. If you've been trying to work with people as hard as you can and something keeps blocking you from them, there's a reason for that. You've been being spared. I'm trying not to testify so much in my own life about this, but there have been people, there have been business leaders, there have been politicians, there have been people who logically I should have been working with, I should have been partnering with on things, and I was blocked at every turn. And now I look back and I say to the universe, man, I will go to the floor, face down on the floor, and celebrate that I was not allowed to be attached to some of the negative things that are coming out of those spaces. The universe saved me. I said, the ancestors, I said, man, I see the proof in this space. Be patient in your awakening process as you are building. Second thing, embrace being a misfit. Embrace being a misfit. The stone that the builder refused will become the cornerstone. That's ancient scripture, right? You are not fitting for a reason. Piggybacking on what I just said. If you can embrace not fitting in, you can find the unique gift, the unique space of voice that will open the door to your greatest dreams and desires, that will lead you to your divine purpose. You have to stop complaining about not fitting in. The other side of that is simply saying, I don't fit in, is not in itself going to manifest anything for you. Because we can walk that mantle too. I've walked it. I know it. I got really good at that at one point. Oh, they just can't handle me. I'm too much for them. I'm too smart for them. I think too much. They can't handle my personality. You know, I don't fit in. I'm not a person that fits in. Well, great. We know what you're not, but what are you? What is your brand, as the young folks say? What is your flow? What is your purpose? That's what you focus on when you're not fitting in. You begin to say, how do I uniquely see the world? Shout out to Sister Cassandra, whose business is taking off now, because now you have become aligned at the right time for what is right for you. Now that you're in a space of what is right for you, don't worry, you're going to set a new tone. Things in society, in the world, sometimes happen in gradual degrees of change. But oftentimes the greatest change happens in moments where we take what's called a quantum leap. It's when Steve Jobs, I'll never forget, it's when Steve Jobs pulled this out. And he said, this is what we call the iPhone. And everybody had a smartphone called a BlackBerry, or you had a Trio. I had a Trio. I drive to another city for technology. I had the Trio. The Trio had the first little video chat, had a thumb keyboard. Y'all remember that? It had all of that. We saw the iPhone, and everybody said, iPhone? Nobody's going to pinch a screen to zoom in. There ain't no keyboard.
No, we had that flip phone. I had my flip phone.
I had a flip phone, too. I had one of the first flip phones. I got the flip phone to the Trio, right? This thing did not exist. And people said, people will never pinch and zoom pictures. And you put a camera on a phone, nobody will use a camera on a phone. Nobody will use a phone without a keyboard on it, a physical keyboard. But there's something inside Steve Jobs that knew that society needed a quantum leap. And now, is there a smartphone that has a keyboard? I don't know. But everything is touchscreen. Everything is photo on the phone. 4K video, you can film a TV show on a cell phone now. All because somebody said, I am embracing being a misfit. And Steve Jobs, numerically, age-wise, was not here for a long time, comparatively. But during the time he was on this earth, he affected how technology integrates with humanity for generations coming. So that's an example of embracing being a misfit. Because in that misfit energy is something powerful that only you can do. And if you can walk in that, oh my God, the amplification of that vibration is what's going to take you to the next level.
And I would even dare to say that everyone is a misfit, should be a misfit, because you weren't here to be like anyone else. You didn't come here to be in competition with anybody else. You didn't come here to use someone else's standard for their way that they live their life as what your standard would be. As we've developed as human nature just to survive, we've learned how to kind of copy one another. But as we are expanding and we're looking at, even when we get to look at how the universe is, if we get to look at how the solar system is, if we get to look at how the snowflakes are, everything has a uniqueness to it, and it joins together, and it seems as if it's just this together, big thing together. But it's because every single being, every single entity has its uniqueness about it that makes it special. So I've always thought that we were meant, all of us were meant to be misfits, because we could bring in our own uniqueness to it. And I was telling you the other day, I was like, that was why I used to love hanging with the so-called misfits, because there was a confidence in that group that I didn't necessarily see if I was with the popular kids. The popular kids were always trying to imitate somebody, something, trying to get the next thing to help them on the outside. Nothing to deal with what was going on the inside. Nothing to deal with the pain and the hurt. They were always trying to find something on the outside. When I was with my misfit group, I would look at them and they were like, I don't care if anybody thinks that I'm weird because I like to watch science fiction and I'm into these, quirky things, and, and they had no problem with being themselves. And there was this place of comfortability, because then it helped me to feel like, well, I guess with them I can be myself. With other people, I'm going to have to become something that makes them feel comfortable. With being with a misfit, I get to be myself and I get to explore that. And so my challenge has always been for people is not how great of an Oprah you can be. And I love when she says that. She's like, I am the best Oprah.
She said, I got that down.
I got that down.
Stop trying to be me.
I got that covered.
Yeah, I got that.
I don't need anybody else to try to be me. I want you to be the biggest person that you can be. It's finding what that is. It's finding, and we have stories. It may not be the bigness of all of the popular people that we know, but there's people in our families who, in odds that should not have done the things that they were able to accomplish. And there are grandmothers, and there are grandfathers, there are mothers and our dads, there are sisters and our brothers, there are cousins who have been able, there are us ourselves who have been able to do things in ways that people could not even imagine. But it's the practice of getting to know who you are and walking into that territory,
Yeah, and I'm going to encourage this, and then the chat is open. If you have a question, I'm going to challenge you. If you have a question in your spiritual space that you've been struggling with or dealing with or working to affirm that you want to ask, that you want to ask us right now, I encourage you, I challenge you to take this opportunity. We do this one Sunday a month. This is where we open up the chat conversation. If we're here in person, we have just phenomenal conversations of people who stand up and they say this. So y'all know we're a family, and this space is for family to have that conversation. So if you have something you want to add, please go ahead and type it in the book or in the chat box so that we can help you get to that space of success that you want to be in, to be authentic, but also to bear that fruit in your life. One thing that you were saying triggered something for me, Sister Kanitha. Getting to know your stories. Stop running away from your stories. I know with family it can be difficult. With my family it can be difficult because when we talk about generationally, we hold these secrets. And people don't want to talk about secrets. They don't want to talk about a sister who went somewhere and went up north and had a baby, and then you didn't see the baby again, and we don't know where the baby is, and somebody else had a traumatic experience with a relative, and there was a abuse or molestation, and people hushed up and don't want to talk about it. So we don't have these ties. It's important to dig and to know the stories, because through the stories that seem to be tragic but also triumphant, we find a pattern of success and overcoming. We can find the good. We can have the understanding. One of the things we talk about in terms of responsibility, I really enjoy. I think the gift of fatherhood is the greatest thing ever. I cherish it. We have 5 kids together. I love it. I will tell people at a drop of a hat, I'm sorry I can't do that. I got to do something with my family, with my kids. That's important. I still feel as if I'm falling short sometimes. I get the nagging feeling that I'm falling short. But I know personally speaking, we talk about our community, I have a very low tolerance for people who do not take care of their kids. It does not make sense to me. It is not logical to me. It's because of the pattern in my family, but also because of my stories. My paternal grandfather, Haskell B. Carr, his wife passed away at 49 years old. She was 49. That's new perspective when you're 53. He took care of the kids and finished raising the kids by himself, starting out as a sharecropper, which is what they call slavery when slavery ended, y'all, and becoming a railroad clerk. He could have abandoned his kids. Let me point out, Happy Jack is his nickname. Happy Jack didn't have 5 kids. He had 11. Let that sink in. 11 children. Wife passed at 49. If anybody would have had that moment to say, I'm stepping out for a pack of cigarettes and you never see me again, deuces, it would have been him. However, that commitment was something that was real and important. So even though when I was a single dad, I wasn't going to miss my visitation. I wasn't going to miss my time and my summers, my split time, because of that commitment. We have to dig into those stories when you find inspiration anytime. When I'm talking about ancestors and I'm on the floor, I'm looking at the altar, wherever it is, and I'm in permanent prayer, I see figures like my grandfather. So when I feel like, oh man, my kids are nagging me right now, or I don't have time for this, that's what I pivot toward. And I say, wow. All they need is an extra hug. All they're doing is trying to give me some sugar. All they're trying to do is get me to help them color. That informs the choices I make right now. So inform the choices you make by saying, what can you do to preserve the present and the future in the choices that you make? Awesome. Okay, let's see. We have a question. We have comments. Thank you, Sister Christina. I have a question. I recently started a tarot oracle reading business, which I love. My family is so against it. It really brings me down. They call it the devil's work. How should I handle this? We were just talking about this.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we started talking.
We're going to have to go a little longer today, y'all. I'm just saying. We were trying to wrap early, but this is real because a lot of you are dealing with this. People automatically reject what they do not understand. If they do not understand it, they reject it. People automatically reject change, and they fear change. Those of you who've been with us through this journey at Infinity, if you remember, we had a, I almost said the, it was funny, I was thinking about Black Panther. We had a woman who moved into this neighborhood a month before we did, and she bought up a lot of property in the area. She moved here from the east side of town, brought up a lot of property, and somehow missed this property because she didn't see the yard sign, obviously. Proceeded to help foment a rumor that Infinity was not doing what Infinity said it was going to do, but we were bringing a drug rehab facility for incarcerated teens into the neighborhood. So the neighbors, who were friendly people, all of a sudden were like, we can't have drug addicts coming and raping our children and all. It was like horrible. You say like, no, that's not what it is. Here's the plan. But the fearfulness of change, the fearfulness of something new, something different, it just started a dadgum near revolution. So it's hilarious to me that as I'm putting the numbers on our mailbox the other day, 3 or 4 of the neighbors coming up the street, hey, how you doing? Glad to see you out. We're so glad y'all are here. Oh, you're improving again. Y'all just stay improving the property. I mean, people walking the dogs just say, hey, Carl, hey, we looking at you, man. We like you. We love that you're here. I'm like, wow, isn't that awesome? 2 or 3 days later, because you have an opportunity to see how it bears fruit. How does that apply, Christine? It does this. When you do something new, it's going to make people fearful. You have to have the wherewithal to say, this is working for me. If this is working for you, that's what you have to focus on to get you through that change period. What is going to create lasting change is going to be the fruit that it bears in your life. If you're walking in divine purpose and alignment with what Spirit has called you to do, it will bear fruit. You cannot argue with the fruit. I used to have discussions with religious people, and they would say, well, you're doing over some weird stuff. I said, I'm very happy. I enjoy writing. I enjoy my family. I enjoy creating institutions, building institutions. I've enjoyed building housing. Here's all the fruit. Well, how's life? You shouldn't be over there, teaching that unity stuff. I said, okay, well, what are you teaching? I teach traditional. Well, how's it bearing fruit in your life? How's it working for you? And a lot of the times, it's not bearing fruit. You're still bitter. You're still angry. You're still in a paralysis of analysis. You're still not bearing any fruit. You're not building any institutions. You're not built one house for anybody. You're not done anything. I'm not comparing. I'm saying that the proof is in the fruit. Trust that you are walking in alignment with who you are and where you're supposed to be, and let the fruit do the talking. Eventually, you'll be surprised. People might call you up and ask for a reading.
So true.
We'll talk about that reading thing too. We'll talk about that.
I keep hearing sow within, sow without. Sow within, sow without. So typically we have always, and before I give my example, we always think that our outside circumstances are what determine what is going to happen for us in our lives. But everything that we want to see in our life is coming from within to without, and then we see the big. It's like the concept of the Big Bang Theory. When we went to that class and he was explaining, it was even smaller than the drop of the pen. The little dot on a pen, it started from even something smaller than that.
1 trillionth, this entire universe that we see was 1 trillionth the size of the dot that you put at the end of a sentence.
And so it just, from that came expansion, and it just started to expand, and it started to grow, and then it just brought everything else in with it, and it just started to expand. if we notice with seeds, like I'm amazed at how much from a seed. I remember someone used to plant vegetables, and I was like, well, where did all that come from? And she was like, look at these seeds. They're so small, and then they create this vast amount of food. That's the universe. So like inside of us, there is that core. And typically, because we get caught up on the outside, we get caught up on circumstances from the outside, we think that everything, how we determine how life is going for us is a determination from what's going on from the outside. But the key is it's digging deep and going within, because all of your power resides within. So it goes to my story. At first, I thought I had to fight and explain to my family that I was no longer going to walk and do and be in that religion and all of that stuff. I thought I was going to have to and I kept, and I would shy down. I would just, not talk about it when I was around them. They'd skate around it. Well, do you read the Bible anymore? And I was like, well, and it bothered me. It would bother me, and this is early on. And then we talked about practice, right? Because we talk about the snap, we talk about the proof, and everything in my life, the only reason it came about was because I had to go back within. So I was like, well, if they ain't gonna listen to me no way, then let me just find out for myself. Let me learn this for myself. So I started to study, and when obstacles came up my way, I was trying to pivot, and I learned the art of pivoting, and I'd get down, and I'd be like, oh man, this is messed up, and I was like, no, I've got divine power inside of me. I'm pivot my butt. Girl, you got this, girl. Turn around, just do it. And I had to get myself to that point. And now the growth that has come. So I realized when I had a conversation with a family member, and they were asking me about what I saw or how I saw God. What did God mean? And before I would shrink and be like, well, I don't know. This time I was like, well, God is in everything. And I don't see God, I think we limit God if we feel like God is subject to one way or the other. And I see everything in God. I see myself in God. I see the plants in God. I see this house in God. I see everything in God. And the way that I get to that place where I connect, that is what my goal is every single day, is for divine alignment. That's what I'm about. And I realized I finished, and I was like, that was it. And I felt there was something inside of me that I was like, I'm learning, I'm growing. And now what do people say? They can't question me because they see the proof. So I say that to you, Christina, is that even in those moments where other people, they're not going to get it. Just period. Everybody's not. You don't really want everybody to, because we're thinking about that process of being a misfit. You want to be authentically you. So it is going to be your job, your responsibility to go within. And then the things will start to pop off. And then people will see that lives are being transformed because you're doing tarot readings. You're seeing things popping off for you that are unexplainable. And then there is no conversation anymore because people see the proof.
People see the proof. And also to piggyback on that, and then we've got a couple of good questions to answer on here. This understanding of calling. Last week, if you all remember, the message started with a quote by Benjamin Elijah Mays. I have only a minute, 60 seconds in it. Didn't seek it, but I got to use it. It's up to me to prove it. When you talk about that, it's how much time do you spend trying to explain yourself to others versus walking in who you're supposed to be. And oftentimes we find ourselves as human beings, and I found myself in the past trying to explain to people, because I want people to understand that I'm growing. I want people to understand that I'm expanding. I want people to understand that I'm on a path. I want my parents, I want my aunties and uncles, I want my friends, I want them to understand that I'm good, I'm really, really good, but they will not understand it. And 2 quick things that come to mind, and then we'll go to the next thing. Number one, as my mom and dad used to say, son, when you open your mouth, you put your brains on display. So people will tell you where they are. It's not a judgment of you. It's a judgment of where they are. If they're in a limited space where they think that a card is something that came from the devil, then they're just demonstrating their limitations. But if it is something that in a divination way can help you help people clear paths, then that's what that is for you. That is that space. So I encourage you, as you continue to navigate that space, to just become a deeper student of your craft. I tell this with all people because now younger people are picking that up. They're like, oh, Terrell, they go to the store, they pick up a deck, and they just start throwing them out. They don't understand that the divination tool is actually you. The deck, the bones, the cowrie shells, the whatever it is, the spiritual beads when you go to the confession room, whatever, those confirmations are actually you. It's an extension of you and what you already know. The closer, the more you get in touch with what you already know, the less you need those outside tools. So as you become a student of that for the practice of healing, that gives you the time, the effort, and the energy to develop and evolve your craft in a way that's going to evolve. Time, effort, and energy that is well spent understanding all of those 75 plus combinations in a tarot deck and what they uniquely mean, adding experiences and years of experience to that particular practice. That's time that is well spent enough alone on that, and time can only go in one area or the other. You can try to explain, or you can go deeper into your craft. Bella Gesia Howell says, and I've used this before at Infinity, never explain yourself. Your friends won't ask you to. Your enemies won't believe you anyhow. So when you get to that point, the people who are always asking you to explain yourself, they'll never be satisfied, ever. So you'll just be in a cycle of explanation. All right, let's go on up to Sister Felina. Love it. How do you move past hurts dealing with a parent who didn't acknowledge their siblings' misdeeds? Molestation. This is something we've had a lot of conversation about. Number one, the recognition is it's not your fault. The first phase of move past the hurt is it's not your fault. It's the adult's fault. It's their responsibility. Oftentimes you're in a space where people do not want to believe what is accurate about people around them. And that is the rose-colored glasses. It's not the rose-colored glasses we talk about seeking the good inside. It's the delusional rose-colored glasses where people cannot acknowledge something bad has happened. This is a seed that generationally affects our DNA. And it's something that we have to, in community and family and in spaces, in spiritual spaces and religious spaces, we have to start dealing with this reality that a lot of people have been in this circumstance and situation. Number one, it's not your fault. Two, if somebody is not going to acknowledge it, they have made up their mind that they're going to stay locked in a delusion. You have to move, and we have to move into a space where when we relieve ourselves of the responsibility of thinking it's our fault, we also practice forgiveness in a way that is not allowing our past to be tethered to our present. So we can't sit in the hurt that we can't fix from the past. But we can learn the lesson that will make sure that this generation, we're not going to have any of that in this family. This generation, we're not going to have that in this community. If I've been there, I'm going to make sure that from this generation forward, we're going to do what we need to protect people. And that energy is turned toward protection. There are some people who will never acknowledge it. Generationally, they will not acknowledge it. But you have to get to the place where you understand that you're not at fault, and that energy that is being created from a person who will not acknowledge this dis-ease is going to come back on them in a new way that you don't have to acknowledge or deal with.
No, and because it's the secrets, it's the family. You know, we've dealt with that in our family. I don't even know. The more I uncover, I just keep covering everything.
Right, because you tell lies on top of lies to cover the original lies, and then it's just layers.
Yeah, it's so many layers to it, and it's so many secrets, and it's the denial. You know, there's a lot of denial from people and families. But I always think about sometimes, like, even if I have to think, and it personally hits home, for myself, just having seen some certain situations. But there is this point where you realize that that person is only going to operate, that's why they're operating from a bubble. And it has come out in like sicknesses and ailments and things that I have seen in family members that would point to, that's probably why you have been dealing with what you've been dealing with. It's probably why you've been dealing with the sicknesses because you've been holding this, you won't acknowledge it, and then it's hurting the family. And the way that I've had to turn it around, because I had to deal with stuff, I had to understand things, I had to figure out people that I was so close to were the perpetrators to something. I had to deal with that, but then I was like, well, now I get to change some things with our kids. So if they come to me, or if I see somebody acting untoward, with them, then I'm not going to just sit by and scoot away and watch it happen. I'm going to, because my alert has gone up, because I realize it could be the closest person in your family that might try something, I'm going to make sure that they're protected. I'm going to make sure that they're around situations where they're going to be in a very healthy environment, But it does. It's one of those things. But then we get to learn from it to do for the next generation.
That's good.
Or programs that we start.
That's good. And I'm gonna give this advice because now mental health is it's being talked about more than you think. Black mental health, white mental health, all kind of mental health. It's a big industry now. People are seeking help. And that's why so many people now are expanding their spiritual practices. People are there for them. Professionally speaking, get some therapy. If you're in a space of hurt where you need some practical therapeutic tools, these are the spiritual tools that allow you to move there. Find that community. We invite you to stay in this community here because we're going to keep talking real, authentic real. We're going to be talking authentic real about these issues. Get a therapist, and I'm going to say something that may be perceived as controversial. Get you a therapist who don't want to see you long term. Get you a therapist who just ain't interested in you sitting on their couch.
She was like, there is nothing else. I needed to go to therapy. We got through it. And she was like, there's nothing else that you need. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, now jackleg therapists, because you have jackleg everything. You got everything becomes jackleg. Not jackleg from judgment, jackleg on absence of fruit, right? That means it's mental, spiritual, emotional, professional masturbation. It feels good, but it doesn't produce anything. So when you talk about that kind of energy, there are people out here who will take your money left and right and see you for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and it didn't produce fruit in your life. If I'm having a conversation with a therapist, or I need some assistance in a family way, and I interact with tons of therapists now, because there's a point where I'm going to recognize spiritually, okay, look, we're dealing with this spiritually, but you need to see a professional here. So let's get you connected with somebody who don't want to deal with you. They love you enough to heal you and then move you on. You got to deal with somebody who is interested in healing you. And when you get healed, you have the tools that empower you to move forward beyond them. We always say at Infinity, and I'll tell you all here who are watching, if you come into this space of spiritual practice and you ask for the tools and we give you the tools and the tools aren't working, I will help you find a better spiritual community. I will say, hey, look, maybe you need something else. You may need something a little stricter. You may need something a little bit more regimented. I will help you, because the last thing I want you to do is come into this space and not see fruit. When you see standing ovations, when you see gratitude every Sunday, and when we have these conversations with each other, that is people saying, I have applied these principles and I've seen some fruit in my life. That's how you find that space. But yeah, find that space of healing there. Brother Charles, I struggle to see in myself all the good that everyone else seems to see in me. I think it's called imposter syndrome. You're right. I've had that all my life, brother. I know. I tend to be very hard on myself, which causes me to speak and think very harshly and negatively towards myself. I know better, but how can I bring my thoughts and feelings into more positive alignment within myself in the face of tough challenges? Do you know? I love you, Brother Charles. You an awesome dude. And the imposter in you is trying to fight you hearing this. But I'm telling you this. There's an old saying that the old folks used to say, if you know better, you do better. So if you truly know this, you got to start doing. Imposters and everybody, because I know we got some great people, y'all. There's some fabulous souls in here. I brag on people who come in this stream and come in this space all day. I got organizers and activists and doctors and attorneys and just PhDs and scientists and yogis and healers and business owners, entrepreneurs, corporate executives, you know, all kind of just fabulous people, you know, city workers, government. I just got it's just so many great people come together in this space, and we talk about that. So I know with all that greatness comes imposter syndrome. You start wondering if you deserve this. You hear somebody say something about you, and you're like, no, man, I wish I was that. But guess what? You are that. Imposter syndrome is a flame that exists inside. The only way that flame can burn is if you allow the oxygen to get to it. In those moments of stillness, you can fill those moments of stillness with, I am good, I am on track, I am in purpose, or I'm an imposter. The Native American saying, there are two wolves that live inside each human being. One bad wolf, one good wolf. Well, which wolf is going to dominate? The wolf that I feed. That's the one that's going to grow stronger. Now, I'm going to give you one of my personal tricks because, again, I'm not giving you – I moved beyond traditional spaces because they would have people who were saying one thing and doing another. So when people would say, hey, I got the prosperity workshop, and this guy told me to come to a prosperity workshop once in Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama. He said, come to this prosperity. This brother's going to be preaching. He's going to be teaching prosperity. I said, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. We're not here for that. He said, no, man, you got to come with me. I said, okay, in the spirit of brotherhood, I'll go. I sat there an hour and a half, this dude talking about prosperity. He says, good in it, it's good in it. I said, no, it's not, because he didn't tell me anything. He said, yes, he did. He told you got to have your mind right. I said, no, that's not what I came here for. He got people 5 tables deep lined around this arena buying his books and his products. What he should have given a presentation is on how to write a book, how to print a book, how to motivate yourself to do CDs, how to set up a scanning system where you could do sales. That's because that's how he got his. Sure, he had the mindset, but he didn't give me the practical stuff. So I'm going to give you the practical stuff from somebody who has dealt with booting imposter syndrome out of his life. I distract myself. Anytime the imposter syndrome starts to creep up and want some of that oxygen, I turn to something else. I reach to the side of the bed and grab a wood flute. I reach and grab a graphic novel. I turn on something on YouTube and watch it. If I'm really good, I turn to my journal and start writing. Or I flip on Netflix and watch a movie that takes me out. If I can't affirm the good in me in this moment, the least thing I can do is stop that imposter syndrome from trying to rear itself in my thoughts. I'll distract it first. I'll go throw rocks in a river before I allow the imposter syndrome to start to grow too big. Take that practice with you and trust that if other people, especially people who are doing good in the world, are saying that there's something awesome about you, ain't nobody lying. That's a consistent pattern, point to point. All right, something to add on that? Do we have any recommendation for therapists in the area? Send us an inbox, and I'll send you a couple of people that I know don't want much to do with you. Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. I had a doctor when I was younger who he understood things. So I'm 21, 22 years old. I stopped eating meat and, became a vegetarian and all of that and maintained that. When I was about 27, I had a doctor, and he would come in. He's like, why are you here? I said, well, I'm just coming for my annual physical. He said, I like that about you. He said, you change anything? You still eating the way you eat? He was a vegetarian too. He said, you change the way you eat? No. He said, all right, let me listen to your heart. Got any pains? No. All right, good. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And we'd share tips and it'd be going on. He said, but unless something catastrophic happens, man, I'll see you next year. Now, at that time, I was acting. I was in a union. I had my insurance. You had the good insurance that you pay into at that time. So that brother could have said, hey, you know what? I need to do a follow-up with you next month.
Oh, let me draw your blood, because I got to draw your blood every single time. Every single time. Every time. And don't call you with the response of what was on the, well, it came out good. Every time.
Later in life, when I had them struggle, I was on the struggle bus on that public insurance. So y'all know about that public insurance. Y'all better give thanks. That public insurance, and they start sending you to the nurse practitioner. And I never got so much blood drawn. You're right. And then they do that messed up thing. They call you on Friday night. Call Friday afternoon, 4:59. Mr. Carr. Beep. Mr. Carr, we have the
Results.
No, but they're distracted, so it scares you. Say, Mr. Carr, we have the we have the Mr. Carr, we have your test results. Just call us. Could you just call us Monday? Click. And you're like. So from you get that, you call back an answering service. So you just know you just start putting your affairs in order, and then you call back first, 7:59 on Monday morning. I call, oh yeah, I just want to let you know everything was good. We'll go down that rabbit hole. Right. So get with a practitioner of any kind that wants you to grow beyond. There are people, y'all know, we've had people in Infinity. Some people may have showed up one day. I had a couple showed up. They were working on their own ministry. And they wanted to stay in a traditional space, but they liked the energy of Infinity. And they were like, we don't want to go in traditional church in our ministry, but we just love this. We came to visit, to be a part of this concept, just to see. And I was like, come on in. And I said, look, any tips we can give, any experiences we got, we're glad to pour in to what you're doing. They were here one Sunday. Talked to them afterwards, and they were like, this is awesome. I said, I wish we could go this far with ours, but, we just really want to. I said, hey, blessings on what you got. You came and got what you needed today. There it is. So it's like we want to pour into you to help you get where you need to go. Felina, one more. I'm learning something new, which could be lucrative in the future, but I feel like the technical side of it is not as interesting as the creative aspect. Unsure if I continue with the program. Operate from a space of alignment first, and everything else will come into place and come into play. Right? There's a scripture. If you're faithful over a few things, you'll be made ruler over many. If the few things are the creative parts, then that means that the technical expertise will appear in person, places, and things that will help you get there. The key is to seek alignment first. I have been in spaces where, I produce plays at the Ryman. I produce plays at Tennessee Performing Arts Center, the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C., Belshire, Washington. I've just produced stuff. And I've been in positions where I had no idea who was going to be able to help me pull things off. But I knew I just had to schedule things and pull them off. The people and places and things appeared to affirm for me, whether it was an excellent lighting director, whether it was a phenomenal actor, whether it was somebody who was a musician who just happened to say, you know what, I've been looking for an opportunity like this. It lined up, but I had to move first in alignment. So if it's in alignment with your spirit, it makes you feel good. There are always going to be the holes. And like I talked about last week, you just have to trust the blanks. That's when God fills in the blanks for you. Every single story about every single prophet that you can think about throughout time involved the same thing. Being called, and then the response is, but I can't do that. Well, you know what? You worry about just stepping forward and saying yes, and everything else is filled in. I don't care what you're doing. Activating, organizing, whatever it is out there, you do what you're called to do, everything else is going to
Yeah,
align.
and sometimes you do have to get the expansion going through the program, because I was thinking about that with the money stuff. I was not good with money, and my mom is an accountant, CPA, but I was not good at it at all. And I was like, but it came to a point where I said, well, I don't want someone else over my money, my affairs, that know more about it than I do. So I went to school. I
Yes,
went
you did.
got a certificate in accounting.
It's on the
took
wall in her
all
office.
the accounting and business hours, and there were parts in it that were like, oh goodness. And I got opportunities to work with a company and all of that, and I turned it down because I was like, well, this is as far as I needed to go. I needed to learn about financial statements. I needed to figure out some certain things. And so I did. I got the expertise that I needed, even though I love the creative, like for me it was the creative. But I was like, now, can't nobody tell me more about what I needed to know about that? So.
Or, to quote the modern scripture, nah, 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 wait till I get my money right. Nah, nah, nah. Then they can't tell me nothing, right?
True that.
So
yes. It all plays together.
y'all,
does.
it's been a great moment. It's been a great day today. We're not going to go over long. We know that we've had a broadcast today. We want to make sure we upload it to YouTube for those who watch us on YouTube around the world. But this is that space of living that authentic spiritual life and to see the results. Those spiritual practices are there. Spiritual practice is any practice that keeps you aligned with who you are. The day of meditation, the day of recognition, the pouring of a libation, the pouring energy into realignment through manifestation, those are all spiritual practices. It's also conversations that you have with yourself and with the people around you. Surround yourself with people who are going to affirm you, who are going to help you find a way through the situations and not tear you down. That is a spiritual practice. And understand that in this space, something that Dr. Barbara King said that was really profound, and I'm going to close us with this. She said that when you're speaking things, you can speak things into existence. I affirm that. Kenitha will affirm that. I can speak that for her. We can speak things into existence, and so can you. Dr. Barbara King pointed out, though, that I can speak with you the things that are great in your life, but I can't speak for you. That's a valuable difference. I can't, you ask, hey, speak something into my life. I can speak with you if you're saying the same thing, but I can't speak for you. I can't speak your great things happening in your life and make them happen for you. I can only make things happen for me. And if I'm tapped into a space where things are in alignment and I feel confident those things are, when you come to me and you're in alignment and things are in alignment with you and you say, what can we speak together? We can speak with each other as long as we're speaking the same thing. But I can't speak greatness in your life if you think you're not great. I can amplify your acceptance that you got this great thing in you. And that great thing is the example, is the connection to the greatest thing. And because you're a living representative of the greatest thing, and we affirm that, the amplification of that power, of that vibration there. So know that we are speaking with you today, authenticity. We're speaking with you the realness. We're speaking with you the fruit. We are speaking with you the manifestation. We're speaking with you the patience in the process. We're speaking with you the embracing of not fitting. And these things are the resonant spaces that we speak with you today. So it is spoken, so it is received, and so it is. Deep inhale. Exhale to release. Allow your eyes to close in this moment for a second. Divine source, creator God, spiritual energy of our ancestors, cosmic forces. We speak in this place of closure, a space of new beginning. Thank you for the words that were shared today. Thank you for the questions that were asked. Thank you for the seekers on the journey who stayed with us and hung with us and are seeking those authentic spaces. I proclaim those spaces. I speak with all those who are gathered here. We speak hand in hand to you right now. We proclaim alignment right now. We proclaim the misfitedness that is needed to build a new building. We know that to build a new building, you got to lay a new cornerstone. So I speak that everybody here listening is a cornerstone, and that they will interact and intersect with other stones that are meant just for them. Building of new things right now. Birthing of new things right now. Manifesting of new things right now. Planting the tiny seeds that bring the biggest fruit. Submersion in the dirt. Pressure. Atmosphere. All the things we do not control. Our job is to plant the seed. Your job is to take over everything else. So we leave that seed in your divine and capable hands right now. Your omnipotent hands, your omnipresent hands, your omniscient hands. We leave that seed there now. We water that seed with the goodness of gathering today. And as the seed cracks the ground and moves up toward the sun of our existence, we are mindful to give you the thanks. From an humble space, we give you the praise. We give you the recognition. And we stretch taller, we stretch higher, we stretch bigger. Because in stretching taller, higher, and bigger, we show people who you truly are. We speak these things in power. For those whose children are going back into the school system, we speak protection and covering from dis-ease. To the energy, the spiritual energy in the coronavirus, we acknowledge your presence in this world and speak to you to say that we shall navigate through you. That we shall work to understand that you came into this world at this time to make us prove who we truly are and how we respond, not just to you, but to everybody else. How we look out for each other, how we protect ourselves, how we stand up and say no more. We speak that energy of alignment right now, of overcoming right now, of navigating right now. We speak these protection to the families out there, to the individuals out there who are part of your divine family. Thank you for the coverings that you've given us. Thank you for the gift of infinity in this space today. Thank you for the honor and the privilege of pouring into so many awesome souls every week. We speak that these words will cover those going forth. They'll be confident and bold and joyful and loving, because that's what you are. And we made just like you, from you. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Hotel. Shalom. Namaste. Ashe. High five. Get a high five. Can I get a high five? Y'all, we appreciate y'all today. Since we got some musicians, we're going to close out with our normal song that we sing. We're happy to be in this space of alignment with you, and thanking you for the opportunity to be here every week with you, y'all. So we ask that if you want to, you can join us in singing the song that we used to close out Infinity. Next week is Yoga Sunday. If you've been dealing with trying to find your voice, we're dealing with the throat chakra. That's the energy of Vishuddha. That's how it's pronounced in Sanskrit. So next week, move everything from your floor. Those of you who are practicing with us, send that energy in. Reserve yourself a spot. We're going to sing our song, and then I think the voices might hang out a little bit and sing a song or two afterwards. That ought to be fun. I love it. It's going to be great. But we speak that as we sing this song, as these words go forth, that you are reminded that all is well and that we are indeed family. Join with us.
Brighter day, and we are on our way. Then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's the day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. family. If today's a brighter day and we are on our way, then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's the day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. God's reminding me, God's reminding me to look at you and see family. God's reminding me, God's reminding me to look at you and see family. We speak that the God of your acceptance and understanding, the power of the cosmos and the ancestors rest, rule, rock, and abide with you from this moment going forward in power and authenticity. And so it is. We sing together. Amen, amen, Hotep Shalom, Namaste, Ashe. Till we talk to you next week or on the affirmation call, this has been Rev Jeff, and I'm reminding you, when you get information and you take it in, it becomes knowledge. When you take action on that knowledge, that turns it into wisdom. Y'all be wise. Be wise. Sign up for Trunk or Treat, and we'll see y'all soon. That concludes Infinity, and if y'all want to hang around for a minute for some music, send them some affirmation. To the voices.
Until the end of time, I'll be there for you. You own my heart and mind. I truly adore you. If God one day struck me blind, your beauty I'd still see. Love sweet to do divine, just what you mean to me. From the first moment I saw you, ooh, I knew you were the one. That night I had to call you. I was rapping till the sun came up, telling you just how fine you look. In a word, you were love. All of my cool attitude you took. My body was next to you. Until the end of time, be there for you. You own my heart and mind. I truly adore you. If God one day struck me blind, your beauty I'd still see. Love sweet, sweet to define, just what you mean to me. Will we be making light? I only hear the sound. Ooh, heavenly angel crying above. Tears of joy pouring down on us. Oh, they know we need each other. They know you're my fix. I know, you know that I ain't cheating, babe. They know this is serious. I ain't no chocolate heaven for kicks, no. I got crucial, baby. You could say that's a terminal case. You could burn up my clothes, smash up my ride. Well, maybe not my ride, but I got to have all up in my face. I like to think that I'm a girl of exquisite taste. 100% Italian silk, imported Egyptian lace. But nothing, baby, I said nothing, baby, could compare to your lovely face. Do you know what I'm trying to say? What I'm trying to say? Truly adore you. What you mean to me? Your beauty I still see. Truly adore you. If God one day struck me blind, your beauty I'd still see. Love's too weak to define just what you